In this video, I'm going to show you how to win material or pieces using a fork tactic. A fork in the game is a position where one of your pieces, only one, is attacking two or more pieces directly at the same time. And what's great about this is that you will win material or you will trade for better materials because your opponent can only move one piece only if you are attacking both of their pieces at the same time. Now in this position, I'm going to show you how to move, where to move this piece so that you can attack two pieces at the same time. If I move my rook here to e4, this rook is now attacking this knight and this bishop at the same time. It is creating a fork. So now one is going to attack the bishop, number two is going to attack the knight. Now no matter where the bishop moves to, the knight will be lost, or no matter where the knight moves to, the bishop will be lost. So in this tactic, we're going to go through all the pieces that can go and create the fork tactic. Here's another example of a rook fork. I'm going to move this rook to a position where it's going to attack two pieces directly at the same time. Remember, your opponent can only move one of those pieces away. So this position, black is going to lose a piece once we create the fork. Now I'm going to move this rook all the way over here to f4. Putting the rook here, there's a white squared bishop being under attack by the rook, and also a black squared bishop being under attack by the same rook. Now it doesn't matter where black moves because this bishop cannot protect this bishop since they're on different colored squares. So now this bishop is going to fall. Or if black decides to move the black squared bishop, then this bishop is going to be under attack. We have a position here where white only has a bishop that can create a fork and win the rook for free. The bishop can move to c5, attacking both the king, number one, check right here, and number two, attacking this rook. Now this is two direct attacks using one piece. Even though if black moves this king, this rook cannot move and it will be taken by the bishop. The black pieces cannot move this rook over and check this king because their king is still under attack. So that's why black cannot move this rook at all because it has to worry about this first threat right here. So hence black is going to have to move right there, and then white is just going to take a free rook with this bishop. In this position, we have a queen right here. I'm going to create a queen fork. Now, we want to position this queen so that number one, it attacks this king and is also going to help us win this rook at the same time. And a great thing about the queen is that it's the most powerful piece in the game. It can move in 8 different directions as long as it goes in a straight line as far as it can go. Now, this queen is now going to move to e2. Number one, directly attacking the king, making sure that the king is in check. And also this queen is going to attack this rook all the way over here on b5. And it doesn't matter because the king has to get out of check. Even though if the king goes over here and tries to get closer to the rook, the next move, the queen will come and take this rook away. And let's look at this position again. Now even if the rook comes over here and blocks this check, the queen will just come up and take this rook because the rook was not protected by the king. Now we are going to talk about one of the best pieces that can fork in the game. It is the knight. The reason why the knight is the best piece to fork in the game because it can move around the board very easily and it can maneuver through by jumping over other pieces. And people, not many players, have a strong knight vision. They rarely see how the knight moves and the paths that it can take. So in this position, I have a knight and an opponent has both a queen and a king right here. I'm going to move this knight in a position where this knight is going to attack both the king and the queen at the same time, creating a fork. Now this knight is going to go 1-2, slide aside here on e4, and now is checking both the king, 1-2 right here, 1-2, slide aside right here, attacking the queen. Now black cannot just move the queen away to save it because the king will be under attack. Now black has to get out of check. And then white is going to use 1-2, slide aside, taking the queen off the board because it created a fork right there. Here's an example of another fork tactic using the knight. We are not worried about losing this knight because this knight is only worth 3 points. And this queen right here is worth 9. And this rook right here is worth 5. So even though if we give up this knight to take away one of these pieces, we're going to get more points for the end of the game. Now the knight right here is going to move to a position where it's going to attack both the queen and the rook at the same time. Do you see it? If I move the knight here to d5, is number 1 attacking 1-2, slide aside to the queen, and 1-2, slide aside to the rook. Now it doesn't matter if black moves this queen to try to save it because we're going to win this rook anyway. And even though if they take the knight, we've gained 2 points out of this trade right here. Even pawns can create a fork tactic. I can move a pawn where I could attack both this bishop and this knight at the same time. And I don't really care about losing this pawn because this pawn is only worth 1 point, while this bishop and this knight are worth 3 points. So in this position, I'm going to move to c3, attacking both the knight and the bishop at the same time. So if I'm going to attack one of these guys, even though if the black pieces move away right here, I can still take this bishop for free. Or if this bishop decides to take right here, I will just take him back because remember, pawns are worth less than the bishop. I would like that trade a lot. Now I can also move this bishop away or try to protect this knight, but guess what? This pawn will also take this knight because it is attacking 2 pieces at once. And remember, black can only move 1 piece at a time, even when it's being threatened twice. In this one, I'm going to create a little fun example where there is a possibility for a triple fork, meaning this knight is able to attack all 3 pieces at the same time. So I'm going to move this knight here in the middle at e5, attacking both the king, the queen, and the rook all at the same time. You see all these lines that are hitting all these pieces. That's what makes the knight so dangerous in the fork game. Now if we're able to create these forks in this game, in this position, the king has to get out and you can take this queen for free. So in your games, try to find more positions where you can use either a knight, a pawn, a rook, bishop, and even a queen to gain a piece. You can win material, you can win pieces by creating forks.